Today I'm making some buttons to match my upcycled outfit here. This was made from a grown-up sweater. So I am making this and a matching skirt. I was able to utilize some of the existing features, but I wanted to make matching buttons. So I want to show you how to do that. You can see I have the buttonholes marked here. I have one stitched together without the finishing details, and then I want to make a second one to go underneath. Very easy to make these types of matching buttons. I have cut a circle of fabric that is twice the size of the ring I'm going to use. Now these are cafe curtain rings, but you can certainly use anything round and sturdy will work. Probably even square shapes would work. I've even resorted to using bottle cap screw-off lids. That works fine too for recycling. But because I'm making baby clothes for my Magic Baby line, I want them to be soft. So I've just cut a little square of batting that I'm going to use here once this is constructed. So you want to start off with the wrong side of the fabric up, and I have my needle threaded with a single thread of strong cotton thread, and I am going to wax it here. This happens to be a silicone thread wax, but beeswax can work, candle wax will work in a pinch, but waxing does a couple of things. It makes the thread stronger, it helps prevent knotting, and just keeps it a little bit easier to use. So again, I have a single knot in a strong cotton thread, waxed, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to insert my needle, and I'm just going to do a running stitch about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the fabric here. And I just work my way all the way around to the circle. And then when I'm finished and draw the fabric up, it will turn into a round button like the one I made before. But this process is pretty straightforward. You don't want to get too close to the edge, because then you're going to have a lot of loose threads and raw edge sticking out, even though it's on the other side of the button. If you're making a garment or something that's going to be washed, which as I am, you don't want those threads coming loose all the time. So we'll just finish up here, going around the edge. You can see how it's starting to gather up a little bit as we go. Just fine. And when I get to the other side, I'm not going to knot my thread off. I'm just going to let the tail hang so that I can insert my piece of batting and the ring that's going to form the shape and size of the button that I want. Okay, we're at the end, so I'm going to let that sit there for a minute. Now, to open this up just a little bit so I can lay the batting in, and then I'll put the ring in. It's going to look like that, and that on the other side. Now I'm just going to tug on my thread. You get that ring to stay in there. And pull it nice and tight. And now I am going to, I'm not going to cut my thread, but I am going to make a little bit of a knot to hold the gather for the next step. I'm going to make a single knot here in the middle to hold it nice and tight. Now, you see it's still loose and can open up. What I want to do is just slide those raw edges under. Just kind of work them back with your finger. Here I'm out using my embroidery scissors, but you have to be careful because you don't want to poke a big hole in the fabric either. A stylus, a bamboo stick, anything like that would work, just to push those raw edges under a little bit. We're going to stitch them down later, but for now we just want them out of the way. So it looks like that. And now I'm going to do my final stitching. I'm going to work my way back and forth across. So I'm going to take a stitch on this side, and then I'm going to go across to the opposite side and pull it tight, because I want all these gathers to come into the middle like that, which will make it nice and taut so that the fabric doesn't slip and slide around on the button at this point. So back and forth, just kind of like the spokes of a wheel, working your way around. Each time I'm tugging it and pulling it tight. Keeping those loose ends in. Until you've got it stitched all the way around, and then you can just simply knot it off. I think I'll do one more and then I'll be ready. Pull it over and make a knot. It's always okay, so there's the shape of it. Now you could leave your button shaped like that, but you still have a little bit of give on the back. And the next step I'm going to show you, where we now stitch around the button, will help secure it and keep it stronger. Now I'm using pearl cotton, again in a single thread at a time. I'm going to make a nice fat knot on the back and run some wax over it again. You can use embroidery floss, anything a little bit thicker if you want the stitches to show up on the front side, which is what I want. And I've picked thread to match the outfit that I'm making. So I don't want to see my knot, and insert it, my needle in the middle here in the back, and bring it up toward the edge like that. I'm using a fatter needle now, of course, because pearl cotton is thick. Okay, I'm going to let that little tail stay there for now. Now you can feel the edge of this ring. So you're basically going to stick your needle straight through from back to front. Okay, and then you're just going to follow the edge of your button, trying to keep your stitch length even. Okay, pull it nice and tight. Bring it back up. Again, I'm feeling for the edge of the ring inside there with my needle. Pull it nice and tight each time, and this of course not only secures the back but makes that decorative design on the front. It's a great way to recycle and to make buttons that match anything you want to make. Now, because these are not functional buttons on my outfit, I am not adding a loop on the back for a shank. But you certainly can do that if you want them to be functional. I will show you that another time, because I'm not doing that this time. I'll show you how to make a shank on a different set of buttons that I have for a different outfit. Okay, my last stitch. Pull it through nice and tight, and you can see it makes that cute little design around the front of the button. A little bit of softness because of the batting that I added. And now I want to knot my thread off again. I'm going to bring my needle through back to the middle and make another knot. This would be the point, I guess I can discuss it anyway, where you would make a shank by knotting it around a thick needle or a rod. But again, I'm not making one for this, so I'm just going to make a knot and tie it off. Nice and tight. Clip it, and then you can see it's ready to be stitched onto my outfit.